Scott Reese right here with Scott Plowman, man, on the Plow Zone video show on OTEL Music Videos. And who we got today, man?
We have a great artist out of Cleveland, Tennessee, Gary Matheny. Gary is a country rock artist, and we are going to talk to him and bring him into the Plow Zone and just kind of pick his brain like we like to do here at the Plow Zone. We spotlight independent music and the people who love to make it, and that is Gary. Come on up to the show, Gary.
What's up, Gary?
Hey, guys. How are you?
How you doing, my friend?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. It's a great Tuesday. We're getting a little bit of that fall weather, and it feels good. But then again, it's like the Indian summer. You get up in the morning, it's cold. By 10 o'clock, it's cool. By 12 o'clock, it's getting warmer. But, it just goes on and on. So, yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you and welcome to the show. We're going to ask you some questions about your music, about your life, and basically how you're doing and what you're going to be doing in the future. All right?
Hey, that's great.
Can I start, Reese? Can I start?
Go ahead, Scott.
Gary, what the hell is going on in music, man?
Oh, man, listen, I am having a ball. I get all my friends that I went to school with. They're saying, hey, you're an inspiration to all of us old guys out here that are doing nothing but sitting in the chair watching TV. You're actually out doing something with your life. And I enjoy every minute of it. My whole life is dedicated right now to making sure that the independent artist and the independent music gets a spotlight and a platform to get their music out. I tell people all the time, I said, an independent artist is like the guy on the side of the road changing a tire in the hot sun. He's sweating himself off there, and all of a sudden a tour bus rides by and blows the horn and waves at him. He gets no respect. So I'm just trying to get my music out there and to get music of other independent artists out there so that we can get a platform globally, not just in the country, but globally, so that people can be heard and be seen and just get some noticeability, if you will.
I think you are describing the Plow Zone radio show because that's what we do. Spotlight independent music and the people who love to make it.
You ready for this? You ready for this, Gary?
Yeah.
What was your first inspiration of music, man? What's the first music you heard and say, I want to do that?
Oh, man, listen, believe it or not, I was about 3 years old, and I loved Elvis Presley. And You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog was what I sang all the time. I used to go out in the backyard when my brothers were at school, and it was just me at home, and I would take this old guitar that I had. I couldn't play it. I just banged on it. And I would sing You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog to the old dog we had pinned up in the backyard. And, the good thing about it was he never gave me any grief. He just listened, and I thought I had a great audience. And one Saturday morning, my dad went for do some errands, and he took me to the cleaners with him. And like I said, I was about 3 or 4 years old. And he told the man at the cleaners that he said, my son likes to sing. And he said, well, I'll give you $25 if you'll sing something for me. And I was too shy and embarrassed to do it. And man, I could have been a professional musician at 3 years old.
You ended up playing in a band, man. What was your first band, and how'd you come across that?
Well, my best friend, Tommy Dean, I did not know how to play an instrument. I could sing, but I didn't know how to play an instrument. And so my best friend, Tommy Dean, I told him one day, I said, he was in a little band called the Belvederes in Macon, Georgia. And I told him, I said, I want to learn how to play guitar. So he taught me how to play the guitar, and we would go down to Mom and Dad's basement and set up microphones and amplifiers and guitars, and we just bang out the Beatles and the Dave Clark Five and all these guys back in the 60s. And so they would get me to come up on stage sometimes and do a song with them. Well, someone heard me, and they said, hey, we know a band that's looking for a singer and a rhythm guitarist. And so I went to audition with them, and I got accepted. I was about, 11, 12 years old. And we'd play little gigs around the community and things, birthday parties, bar mitzvahs, whatever we could get a gig playing. And then I met the lady that I married, and I found out that dating cost more than the little $25 or $30 I made every once in a while on the weekend. Those burgers and gas and movies was a lot more expensive. So I gave the music up and decided to raise a family. And then when I retired, I picked it back up, and here we are today.
Very nice. All right. You're known for Cleveland, Tennessee. Really has deep roots of different types of music. Do you think that has influenced you till today?
Well, a lot of my influence came from Macon, Georgia, where the Allman Brothers, the Stillwater, people like that. Believe it or not, I sold shoes to Otis Redding's wife when I was a teenager working for a little department store down in Macon, Georgia. But I drank beer with Greg Allman. I had a lot of friends that were in those type groups, you know, the Boogie Chillin' and people like that. So we had a lot of influence in Macon as to the Southern rock scene. And I don't know if you guys know it or not, but we had a lot of musicians. Elton John and Boz Scaggs had considered one time moving to Macon. I think Boz Scaggs actually lived in Macon at one time when the Allman Brothers were in their heyday. So the country rock was a big influence there in Macon, Georgia, and that's where I got a lot of my influence from. I had friends that went on to play with Ronnie Hammond. Was the front guy for Atlanta Rhythm Section. I can remember Ronnie playing in a little band called the Celtics at Sock Hops on the weekends, and my band competed against their band in a battle of the bands one time. And then I had another friend, Lynn Kitchens. He went on to play bass guitar with Gary Puckett. And so, these guys went on. And I tell my wife all the time, I said, honey, if I hadn't met you, I could have been a rock star. I mean, you know.
Did you ever know Barry Hobby? Barry Hobby?
No, Barry Hobby, that name doesn't sound familiar.
No, it was a friend of ours from the Plaza from years ago. He was from Florida, Georgia area, man. He was a great guy, man, a great musician. And yeah, we talked about him and we interviewed him through the years, man. But Barry Hobby was a great guy. So anyways, what keeps you inspired, man? What keeps you inspired, Gary?
You know, I'm a writer. I love to write. I've got 2 books I've published, and I was a freelance writer for our newspaper here in Cleveland for about 6 years. I just love writing. And when I see something that I've written come to fruition, it just makes it that much better. I'll write something and I'll send it up to Nashville to my producer and I'll say, hey, what do you think about this? And he'll say, yeah, it sounds good. I like it. Let me work on it. He'll arrange it. And then he'll call in guys like Justin Weaver, Andy Hull, and those guys that's played with Clint Black, with Winona Judd, with the Dixie Chicks, and all those guys that are studio musicians out at Nashville. They come in and they'll take my melody and my lyrics and things, and then they'll put the sound to it, and then we'll create a hit. I say a hit, a record, song, and hopefully some of them will be a hit. One of them I just had was a pretty good hit, Thinking and Drinking, and it comes out, and it's just hearing the music come to fruition and knowing that, I wrote that. It was just an idea in my head, and then all of a sudden it's a song and it's out there on the radio stations being played and streamed.
Now, do you come up with a lyric? Do you come up with a guitar riff? How was your process of writing?
Sometimes I'll get to playing the guitar a little bit, and I'll hear a sound, and I'll start putting lyrics to it. Other times I'll write the lyrics, and I'll find the guitar melody for it. Everything I write has my melody and my lyrics to it. I don't let anyone else do it. I just add in the lead, the drums, the keyboards, and things like that once we get to the studio. And so a lot of guys will go in and they'll say, hey, I don't know what, I got lyrics, and let somebody else do the melody. I like to put the melody to it as well.
Now, are you a one-man band?
No, I don't play guitar well enough to play out and about. I'm more of a frontman, singer, songwriter. I like to entertain. One of my best points is just being the guy on the front.
Frontman.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think that's cool. I used to love to watch these guys in bands where the guy was just a singer, he was a front man, he was all over the stage, and the people were just oohing and ahhing over him, and everybody in the background was just there,
Got to be the front man.
So Gary, what does it take to get paid in Nashville? What does it take as in somebody up and coming, man? What do you got to do to get paid in Nashville?
Scott, that's a great question.
That's a question they've been trying to figure out for
quite but what does it take, man? Because there's all kinds of people that got great stuff. A friend of mine, Scotty Plowman out of Missouri, has some great stuff, man. And but what do you got to do to get paid in Nashville?
Well, one of the things I've been told is you got to have money to back you. You got to have somebody that's got a lot of dollars that'll put behind you and go to that way. You go to the big record labels and they'll work with you. And most 95% of the independent artists don't have that. I mean, most of those guys have a job and a family, and they've got a music career that's a hobby, and they're hoping to get discovered. And every once in a while that happens. But unless you've got a lot of dollars behind you, you're not going anywhere in Nashville. I'm telling you that. Matter of fact, I don't do a lot in Nashville, not because I don't want to. It's just because it's so hard to get in. Look, you go up and down Broadway, and you visit any bar, and you got guys there that are in bands that are playing music, hoping that somebody will come in and hear them and discover them. And it's like overpopulation. It's population. It's unreal. And so I really think that you just got to have a lot of money and you got to have a lot of pull. If you know someone, yeah, maybe so. But it's very difficult. You know, I heard a story one time about Chris Christopherson, that the way he got actually into the national scene was that he camped out basically in Johnny Cash's backyard and would not leave and said, "Hey, I'm not going till you listen to me." And he listened to some of his songs and liked it. Of course, we all know that Chris Christopherson did not have the best voice, but he had a talent for lyrics. He knew how to put a lyric together to make a song.
Tell me about your craziest concert, man. Some of the best times you've had.
Oh, it was my craziest concert. Oh, gee. We did a concert in Macon, Georgia, a little over a year ago. I put it together, and you was talking about, go back just briefly about how to make it. You know, everything I've done has been out of my pocket because nobody wants to back just somebody they don't know. And so anyway, but yeah, we did a concert at a theater in Macon, Georgia called the Douglas Theater. The Douglas Theater was actually the black theater in Macon back in the 60s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. And the white guys couldn't go there. Yeah, the black guys couldn't go to our theater. So I had never, ever been in that theater. And so I wanted to do a show, and I contacted Keith Burns, who was formerly Trick Pony. I don't know if you remember him or not. And I said, "Hey, man, can you come do a show with me down in Macon, Georgia?" And I rented this theater. And I'm telling you, it was awesome. It was the most awesome. They have gone in and remodeled it and had the nicest stage and the greatest sound and the acoustic. Everything was great. And I had all my friends that I went to high school with showed up, and they said, "Hey, man, we haven't heard you sing since you was in high school." And it was just a great time. I really enjoyed it. I'd love to go back and do another one in Macon because that's where I'm from and that's where most of my followers are. Well, I won't say most of them. That's where a lot of them are. Yeah, but good times, really good times. Gary Sadker, the Red Ridge Riders, he's my producer. He has a little band that plays around Nashville. We bring those guys down. And of course, like I said, they're made of people like Andy Hull, who was with Clint Black, and Coleman Murphy. He's played with a ton of artists. And all these guys come in, and it's just amazing how they can pick up on the music, and we just take it and run with it.
I really enjoy a lot of people getting together and creating something out of thin air.
Yeah, and you know, the indie artists, people don't know what they're missing by listening to indie artists. I'm telling you that I have heard so many good musicians.
Oh yeah,
indie
totally.
artists, and nobody listens to them. They, you know, who is that? And you go out and you say, "Look, hey, friend me on this, friend me on that, listen to my music," and you'll get a few that'll do it. But if these people in Nashville, in LA, and in New York, and in places like that will stop and just say, "Wait a minute, let's take a look at something new here," they would be blown away. They really would.
Agreed.
You know, and I appreciate you guys doing what I'm trying to do is promote those indie artists because they're really. A guy told me one time, he said, who do you think is the best guitar player in the world?" And I said, "Well, man, hey, my favorite is Carlos Santana. If I could be reincarnated, I want to come back as a Latin guitar player. I mean, this guy's great."
Yes.
And the guy said, "No, you've not heard the best guitar player in the world." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "There's some kids on YouTube and Instagram that are 3, 4, and 5 years old that'll blow your socks off."
Agreed.
Said, "Well, you know, you're right. You're right."
Oh, the best guitar player in the world. Some 27-year-old kid sitting in his basement somewhere.
That's exactly it. And he's not. He don't know how to get anything started. He's just playing guitar.
He's a great guitar. He puts himself on TikTok and either gets 1 million followers, and you know, it's such a different way to get famous or to get recognition nowadays than back in the 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. You toured your ass off, you put out a record, and now you put out a 30-second song on TikTok and you got a record deal.
Oh yeah, and you're getting monetization, and you're getting money in there, and you're sitting in your mom and dad's basement just collecting dollars.
Beautiful.
Hey, technology, man.
Yeah, right. It's a good and a bad thing. It's like a catch-22. So, Gary, what keeps you inspired, man? What keeps you going?
Just the love of it. Just the love of it. Like I say, I'm an old guy. I don't expect to ever get a gig where I go out and get a big tour bus and tour the country for 6 or 8 weeks or 6 months. I don't expect that. I would love to do 6 or 7 good shows a year. But my big thing now is I want to see these young independent artists that are really good getting out there. And that's why I created my TV show, Indie Artist Showcase, that we're putting up on the Roku network this week. As a matter of fact, I spoke with OTEL Music Videos tonight, and they're hoping by Saturday to have it up there. And it's a program designed to give independent artists that platform, that visibility that they need, and also to get it out around the world. OTEL Videos has got, as you know, they've got a reach of 160 countries and 89 million active accounts. Well, if we can get it out there and get it around the globe, then these people are getting noticed. They may not get noticed right off, but they are. Our first episode, of course, like I say, has been filmed. It's been edited, and it will be thrown up on Roku. It's on my YouTube channel right now. Episode 2 will be edited next week and be up on the Roku, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. And if I can find funding, then we will go after the first of the year and do 2 more episodes and bring on 4 more new indie artists to share their music. It's a show just for indie artists and original music, nothing else. If you don't have original music and you're not an indie artist, then we don't want you on the show because that's not what we're about.
Wow. That's right. Reese, how many episodes we had on OTEL so far?
So far, we've got 2 episodes filmed. One of them has been edited, and it'll be up on OTEL this weekend. The second one, I'll go out Monday back to Nashville. We'll edit it and have it ready to go. So in a couple of weeks, OTEL can throw that one up.
All right. Well, tell us how the bands would get a hold of you, Gary, if they want to be on your Roku television show.
They need to send me a bio, maybe a couple of videos, some MP3s to Gary.Matheny, Matheny, @yahoo.com. And at that point, then what I've done is I've already got several that have contacted me. I will listen to them and I will throw them into the files. And then when the time comes, then we will pick who we want the next show. I've been able to fortunate to get all of my music, everything I've ever written and recorded is on Carnival Cruise Lines, all 31 ships. And so I recently contacted the guy who's a friend of mine who runs the music department. And I've asked him, hey, I've got a great idea. Why don't we do an indie artist showcase on one of your ships and bring in a couple of artists in and do it that way? So I'm doing everything I can possibly do to get these guys and gals noticed.
So wait a minute. Let's back up. So your music is being played on the cruise lines?
Yes. My all of my songs. I've got 3 albums out, and all 3 albums are in rotation on all the Carnival Cruise Line fleets.
So you're sitting there having a brunch or whatever. You're walking through the whatever it is, and your music's playing on the radio.
Yeah, but there's so many on there though. I'm not so sure I'd hear it every time I'm on the boat.
No, but you're on the Carnival Cruise Lines, man. That's badass, man.
And it was so innocent how it happened, Scott. It was, I mean, used to when you go on the cruise ships and they're at sea and you're up on the Lido deck, and they're playing this reggae steel drum stuff, and it's constant, the same thing over and over and over. Well, I was on a ship a couple of years ago and I heard Journey. And I said, wait a minute, they're playing something other than, hey, man, come on, let's play the steel drum, man, And I go to the guy who's the entertainment director or whatever, and I said, hey, dude, I'm a singer-songwriter. How can I get my songs on here? And he said, well, you got a CD with you? I said, sure. So I gave him a CD. As I was walking off the ship to get off and to disembark, he hands me an envelope and says, hey, call this guy. He knows you're going to call him. And it was Dimitri. And so I called him and I said, hey, man, I got some songs. He said, send them to me. So I sent them all to him. And he said, here we go. So not only is my songs on the rotation for the Lido deck to be playing while people are lounging around, but as you're walking through the hallway going to eat or in the breakfast in the morning and all, you're liable to hear one of my songs come across the intercom playing in there too.
Wow.
So, hey,
that's good shit. That's good shit. Man. I don't care what you say.
I'm blessed.
Right?
That's awesome.
Now, how does that work? You get royalties off of that, or what? You just gave the CD, or what? I mean, how's that work?
Let me tell you, when I had a real job, I was a sales guy and a marketer. And I learned one thing out of that. There's no door you can't go through. And if you want to do something, you knock on the door. They'll either let you in or not, you know? And so every time I get an idea, I just act on it. And so
that's right. Who else is going to do it?
All they can say is yes or no, right?
That's right. Don't know. So, you don't get an answer to a question you don't ask.
Yeah. And so this people have to say yes. And so I said, dude, I'm saying it to you.
You want to give some gratitude to anybody, say thank you to anybody, or a little shout out to anybody who's really affected you in your life?
Oh, yeah, man. Dimitri Fontanelli over at Carnival Cruise Line. That was the best thing that could have happened in a long, long time. Gary Sadker at Red Ridge Entertainment. He's my producer. He's the one that gave me the opportunity to record my music in Nashville. My first album was recorded in Knoxville, and it did not have the Nashville sound. The last two, my last album is titled Drunk Birds Don't Fly. And
that's right.
And look, there's a great story. There's a great story I can tell you about how I got that name. But anyway, gosh, I don't know. My wife, she's my best fan. I mean, I can go somewhere, and I'm a humble guy. I don't go out and tell people, hey, I'm a musician. But she'll say, hey, my husband is an award-winning singer-songwriter. Y'all need to listen to his music. I mean, she's just right there on it. And I love her to death. And so I know I can always take her. She told me the other day, she says, well, when you go do this, I can't go with you. I said, honey, you're part of the production team. If you got a minute, how I got the Drunk Birds Don't Fly.
Let's hear it. Yes.
I drink coffee with some guys here in Cleveland, and we call ourselves the Romeo Club, which is retired old men eating out.
Yeah.
And so we're sitting around one day, and a friend of mine named Mitchell, he says, hey, Gary, I got an idea for a song. And I said, okay, what's that? He said, Drunk Birds Don't Fly. And I thought, how in the heck am I going to write a song around that? Well, I did. I went back home and I sat down. It just bothered me till I started writing. And it talks about an old cowboy who's all alone, and, nothing good happens after midnight. There's a reason for a barbed wire fence, and drunk birds don't fly, And so when I got through recording it, I got to thinking about it, and I said, you know what? That'd be a great name for an album. So I named it Drunk Birds Don't Fly.
I like it. All right, Gary, what message do you hope fans take away from your music, and what can we expect next from you?
I hope they can take away the sincerity of what I do. I'm really engaged in what I do. My passion is music. I've loved music since I could walk, talk, wiggle, or giggle. And I've always wanted, I used to sit at home in the bedroom, turning up the stereo and singing with it because I loved it so much. I just never had the opportunity till now to do anything with it. And I just hope people will hear the passion and the love I have for it, and also the love I have for the independent artist. Like I said earlier, not to be repetitive, but I just want to see some of these guys actually get out and make it, because they struggle as hard as anybody out there. They just do not get the noticeability that other people get. And it's all because, as I said, the money. It's the dollars. They don't have the dollars unless you can find somebody to back them. And then, of course, unless you've got a name, then nobody's going to listen to you.
That is true. So what is next for Gary Matheny?
Well, we're going to hopefully continue with my Indie Artist Showcase and continue working on it. We rented the hall in Madison, Tennessee, Harkin Hall, which was built for a special country TV show that they used for several years, and they do a lot of big concerts there. It's got a professional grade audio, video, lighting, sound, everything is there. It's all professionally done. And if you take a look at my website, my YouTube, and go to the Indie Artist Showcase on my YouTube page, you'll see the professionalism in that. So we're going to continue doing that. My hopes is within the next 12 months that I'll cut my fourth album, which is Whiskey and Sunsets, and get it out and I've got some really good songs on ready to go for it. And hopefully pull in some concerts, do 3 or 4, 5 concerts in the next year on stage. I love performing and singing to people, and just there again, it's a lot of it's logistics and money. It's GaryMatheny.music. That's Instagram.
All right, GaryMatheny.music. All right, Scott Plowman.
What's up, Gary? We want to thank you for coming on the Plow Zone radio show, man. We've been doing this for a long time. We spotlight independent music, and people love to make the music, man. And man, just keep on plowing and keep on rocking on, man. That's all we can say.
Hey,
thank you very much, man. This is on OTEL Music Videos right here on Roku TV, man. And you know what? You just got plowed.
I love it. Hey, listen, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate what you're doing. And I'd love to come back on again at some time and update you on the Indie Artist Showcase, because I'm looking for that to go really big. I've contacted a couple of TV stations and things, hoping that they might pick it up. And we'll see how it goes. Hey, listen, I'm optimistic. I'm very optimistic. We'll just keep plowing, and we'll just keep plowing.